Hi Tiger Nation, and welcome once again to Keeping Your Eyes on the Tigers. Well, Tiger Nation, it looks like this is going to be a long season. What's wrong with the team? Are they making, well, as we see, they're making a lot of mental errors. In this last game that they had 16 turnovers. It really seems that, they're averaging about 15 to 16 turnovers a game. What's wrong with the team? Was it an omen as to what kind of season this was going to be when they lost the exhibition game to Christian Brothers University? Then they came along and they lost to Wichita State. The only good thing that I can say so far about this season was the win over peer review, and that was pretty good, but it wasn't that good. They lost to in the win that they had the other day over. My mind is running blank. In the tournament, they won Indiana State after losing to Wichita State. But what's wrong with this season? Is it the Tigers? We got these young fellas, or is it the coach? The coach always is speaking on it don't go no further. It stops with him. So I wonder. The Tigers are, they played against Baylor, and they got their butts handed to them. Baylor held the Tigers to only shooting 34% from the floor, so that was terrible. And then plus, they shot 40% from the 3-point range. That was good, but they had 14 turnovers in that game. So, I'm still trying to figure out, what's wrong with the Tigers. Now, they came back, as I was saying, they came back and they played Indiana State, and they won that game 72-62. So that was pretty good. They did all right. They shot 46% from the floor. They shot 41% from the 3-point range, so that was good, and they even shot 79% from the free throw line. So, that was good. Only bad thing about that game was they had 17 turnovers. And they did good because they had 5 Tigers to shoot in double figures, with Shaq being the high point man with 19 points, and Shaq even had 8 boards. But what's wrong with the Tigers? I mean, you turn back around, and then a team that I've really never heard of, Stevenson F. Austin, the Lumberjacks. And that's what they did. They came in here on our home court and jacked the Tigers up the other night, 64-52. 64-52. And that's where I'm looking at on that game. The Tigers made a lot of mental errors. The only 2 people that really did anything was Shaq and Nicholas. Shaq had 15 points and 6 boards, with Nicholas having 16 points and 5 boards. Burroughs came off of the bench, and he did good. Burroughs seems like he's going to be one of those players that is going to get his points. Burroughs came off the bench, and he had 10 points and 6 boards. But everybody else got shut down. Didn't nobody else do nothing. They averaged to maybe about 4 or 5 points between the rest of the players. But But what is wrong with the Tigers? I mean, well, one of the things, they shot 39%, from the floor, and they got killed on the three-point range. I mean, Austin just shut them down. They were 1 for 13 from the three-point range. They shot 56% from the free throw line. Now that lets you know, if you can shoot 79% in the game before and then come back again and you can't make but 56% from the free throw line, what is that saying? It's a mental error. I don't know what to say. I look at it, as I was saying, the coach said that it stops with him. But I'm asking myself, coach, what are you gonna do? How come, the team is not they're not focusing on the game? So I'm wondering, what are you going to do, coach? And then I'm looking at boosters. Y'all need to step up and start putting some pressure on the athletic director, or put some pressure on the coach. Since he says it stop here, with him, we are used to winning, and that's one thing that we love to do. Like I said, this is going to be a long season. I'm bewildered. I don't know what to say. I'm looking at, the next 8 games are going to be at home. I don't like that, because you got to get some playing time of playing on the road, playing in hostile environments. And you talking about getting ready to go into tournament time starting in January. You're gonna play all your games at home in December. That don't come out right, but as I said, this is gonna be a long season, so we may as well get ready for it. I don't know what's gonna happen. Only thing I can say is the next 2 games that we are having is gonna really show what's gonna happen this season. We got Bradley coming in here Saturday. That's December the 6th, and then coming in right behind Bradley, we got Oklahoma State. So, you know what Oklahoma State did to us last year. We pulled the game out, but then we went into a slump after that. So, I look at it. Is it the coach's fault? Because, you have to prepare a team to be prepared to play. I look at, John Calipari. John Calipari had a whole bunch of new players this season. Every season, John Calipari have new players. So, but they come in there and they're prepared to play. So, coach, what are you going to do? Listening to the other Tiger Nation fans and everything, we are not happy with what's going on at all this season so far. I know this season just started, but we want some wins. And, only thing I can say, Tiger Nation, is let's keep the Tigers lifted up. We got to take this with a smile. What's the old saying? Take a grain of salt with a smile. But let's keep them lifted up, and always remember to keep your eyes on the Tigers. Bye now.